What's going on, everyone? You're listening to the Asian MMA podcast, where we talk about anything and everything going on in the world of Asian MMA. Today's a little bit of a different episode. I'm actually going to be talking about what went down at the most recent One Championship, because I have here with me my friend Leon Jennings from the Asian Persuasion MMA website, who is actually there. He travels to every one event pretty much, right, Leon?
Pretty much, yeah.
And covers them live. And so since he's here in Bangkok, I was like, let's grab some dinner, and then we're going to do an episode of the podcast and just talk about what went down last night at One. And he was like, great, fantastic. So here we are. Leon, thanks for coming on.
That's all right. Let's do it.
Yeah. You know, I'm going to say beforehand, I wasn't super excited about this card. I didn't even come out to Impact last night. One, because Impact's in the middle of nowhere, right? And I mean, you stay near there because you're based in KL. It's a far trip, and it's hard to get back if you don't hire a driver. So I was just like, I'll watch it on YouTube. And because if you don't live in the U.S., you're fortunate because One streams all their events, which I think is phenomenal. You were there, though. You said it was a packed house last night?
Packed house, great atmosphere.
They gave away a lot of tickets then.
Well, the atmosphere is amazing. And
yeah.
There's a big event in Lumini Stadium as well last night, so they were competing against that. So.
Yeah. And I will say this, though, that One, production-wise, if you've never been to a One Championship event and you're a fan of MMA, even if you've been to a UFC event, you've got to go to a One Championship event because the production is through the roof. The intros, the screen, it looks good on TV, but you really do experience something different when you're there at a live One event, in my opinion.
I agree. You've got to try at least one.
I've been to the UFC live, and it's a great atmosphere. It's cool, but it's nothing like a live One event. And I've been to one of the events in Singapore about a year ago when Angela rematched May Yamaguchi, and all the listeners are probably sick of hearing me say this. I really feel like May got robbed. I know you do too, because I saw your interview with her after. Actually, we were sitting next to each other in press row, and we talked about this.
Well, I was sat on the fence a little bit. I mean,
you asked her straight out, like, "Oh, did you feel you had?" And we talked about it beforehand. The way you asked her, like, it's got to be in Angela Lee's contract. She can't lose a decision in One Championship.
Well, it was a bout of two halves, really. Angela definitely won the first half. May definitely won the second half.
I disagree. I think I would say it was 2/3 to 1/3. And I don't know, again, another thing I disagree about with the scoring and all of this, but we're not talking about that fight tonight. We're talking about what went down last night. And like I said, I wasn't super excited about it, and I ended up really being captivated by the fights on TV because it was what I called, and I was wrong. I called this a third-tier card, and it turned out to be with the exception of the main event, which I thought was incredibly one-sided. We'll talk about that. In the co-main, which was turning out to be fight of the night, until we'll talk about what happened. It was a really good card. I want to start by talking about Janet Todd, who made her debut with a Muay Thai fight, and dominant performance.
Well, she fought Stamp Fairtex in a Muay Thai for the belt.
Oh, that's right. No, was that K1 or Muay Thai?
That was Muay Thai. Last night was kickboxing.
That's right, yeah.
So she got the win, yeah, in impressive fashion.
It looked fantastic.
Yeah.
Stamp's a beast too.
Yeah.
And that's right. That was what? That wasn't that long ago, was it? Where her and Stamp fought for the belt?
It was in Singapore, so I think was it
right before Tokyo?
Yeah, I think around February time.
Yeah, Stamp's
February.
It's funny because they showed Stamp. I know you didn't see this last night, but watching online, Stamp was there, and so they pan to her. If they're not showing Rika and Shannon sitting together, they're showing Stamp. And Stamp is the most bubbly, cute little monster killer individual that there is. But yeah, Janet Todd looked phenomenal last night, and at one point she kicked her opponent was
Wang Qinglong.
Yeah, Wang Qinglong. She kicked her and she just bent over and I can't do this.
For me, the night was kind of summed up by the kicks. There's Janet Todd's kicks, and there's Rod Tang's, and there's Nong-O's.
I don't even want to talk about it. It hurts me to talk. You're right. It was a night of kicks, but I mean, it was also a Muay Thai heavy card.
Yeah.
Only a handful of MMA fights on the card. And, I think we'll talk about let's talk about Adrian Pang and his fight against Kazuki, because the first time I saw Adrian fight live was when he beat Peter Davis. And in doing so, he broke Peter Davis's face. And if you guys don't know, Peter Davis is a gorgeous human being. It should be a crime to break a bone in that man's face. But he literally had to get a steel plate put in his face to fix the damage Adrian Pang did. And Adrian Pang's a monster. And he looks like a monster. He looks like a little compressed version of the Hulk. But, you know, it seemed like he couldn't pull the trigger last night, maybe. Or at least, like, he wasn't getting the strings of damage that I'm used to seeing him get.
He's fighting another tough guy, and
yeah,
he was having his typical fight. I mean,
but usually he turns it on and it doesn't stop. And it seems like that on switch kept stalling on him.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, he wouldn't want it to end that way.
No, so yeah, if you guys don't know, the fight ended with a stoppage because Adrian got a cut. Rated
Doctor
stoppage. And I've often made the case, I think one stops it a bit too quick on cuts. I didn't actually see the cut, but you saw Adrian today, right?
I spoke to him this morning, and considering...
How'd the cut look?
He was bandaged up and he was wearing sunglasses.
So it was probably bad.
Probably bad. He said the cut was bad, but he said the blow he got was directly on the eyeball as well. It wasn't around the outside that you normally get. And for someone as tough as Adrian to not complain and to not say, I wanted to carry on, you know he was in pain. He said the pain was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Said it was a little bit like the Eddie Alvarez.
Yeah.
We're not used to seeing Eddie Alvarez almost kind of give in. Again, if you get your eyelid split in half, I guess that might even make the toughest of men. Yeah.
But I mean, one of the things that I felt last night was that Kazuki was really, really controlling that fight and really touching up Adrian quite a bit. And it felt like every time Adrian started to get a little bit of momentum, it stalled out on him, and he wasn't able to close. And you know, I had that fight picked wrong. I had Adrian just kind of smashing Kazuki into oblivion, like I've seen him do many times, and it didn't happen.
Well, I thought Kazuki might be the perfect opponent. I said that to Adrian when I spoke to him the week. I said most of his wins have come via TKO or KO. Mm-hmm. Most of his losses have come through KO or TKO. So I was thinking he's probably going to stand and brawl, which is exactly what Adrian Pang wants. But he did actually go for quite a few takedowns. So he wasn't too keen on going toe-to-toe with Adrian, although he didn't have much choice at times.
Yeah, it's funny because I think Adrian's a BJJ black belt, and I don't think I've ever seen him do extensive groundwork. I mean, I know he trains it, but I think he just loves to go out and bang. And like you said, he is an old school brawler. He's like, what, 44?
41.
41.
Yeah.
Now, another bout on the card that I really enjoyed was Pangsri versus Robin Catalan. And Pangsri looked phenomenal.
He did look good.
Really good.
Yeah.
Coming into this, and you know, I've seen Pangsri fight all over Thailand. You know, and he's got like some ridiculous amount of Muay Thai fights as well. And was he 21 or 20? He's super young.
I don't think he's as young as he's got a baby face, isn't he?
No, but I think he is like early 20s though at the oldest.
Isn't his nickname the Babyface Assassin?
Babyface Assassin, yeah. But Pangsri he had a little mustache going on last night. I don't know if you saw that in the arena. Kind of had like a little apprentice pimp mustache going on. It looked a little shady. But
maybe it's Lucky Tash.
Yeah. Yeah, his movement looked great, and you know, just on the ground he looked fantastic. I mean, he's with Tiger now.
Yeah.
So
George Hickman.
George Hickman, and
did a great job. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, Hickman's a beast, and oh man, it's just he looks so good. Whatever he's doing down there is working for him.
Yeah, I mean, I was chatting to him this week, talking to him about Khalil Roundtree, and how phenomenal he looked last time out. And obviously, George Hickman in his corner, he's been training out of Tiger. Yeah, they've got some killers in that gym. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big gym down there. I think those are just guys. And I'm sure you've seen the videos they put online of people training and like showing up and just Muay Thai coaches beating the piss out of people. And I forget who I was listening to on Rogan where he said he showed up without shoes.
Oh, that was kind of
Roundtree. Yeah, Roundtree, yeah. And
his athlete Timothy Nastukin, who just beat Eddie Alvarez. He's training there.
Yeah, Timothy Nastukin though, he looked phenomenal in that Alvarez fight.
Yeah.
And I knew he was going to be a tough fight. I did not expect to see him just shut Eddie down. But yeah, Roundtree, when he was talking about he showed up without shoes, and they're like, okay, go run. 8 kilometers.
This is your warm up.
Yeah, you know how hot that asphalt is out in Phuket, man. It's no joke.
I've done a lot of running in Koh Phangan and it's a bit more south, but
yeah, still hot.
Puts hairs on your chest.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that was a great fight. I was just like so impressed with his movement, his strikes, and those knees. And one thing, Pongsui's clinch work. That Muay Thai background. Just you saw how dominating that was. How absolutely dominating. When you were watching it, was press row to the right of the walkout again?
It's always on the left.
The left. Well, right if you're facing.
Right if you're facing the state.
Yeah, but if you're facing the walkout, to the left.
Yeah, this time we were behind the commentary team.
Oh wow.
Steve Dawson and Mitch Gilson. Yeah.
That's cool.
Because the media box is that side, so always before. We wanted to interview someone, we've got to walk all the way around.
Yeah.
So they finally thought, well, should we just put them near the media box?
Good call.
But yeah, so it was interesting being that side, seeing a completely different side of the thing.
No Chevello last night.
No, he was under the weather last week, Jakarta, and I think he just wants to make sure he's
good for Singapore.
Singapore, yeah.
No good night, Irene's.
No.
That's one of my favorite things when he says it. He'll say it like 30 times.
Yeah.
And I only heard 2.6 billion potential viewers like twice last night on the broadcast. I was surprised. But you know what they should have said was, because Bangkok has about 12 million people, there's probably a potential gate of 12 million people.
Oh, yeah.
Potentially,
yeah.
But yeah, Pangsui, great fight. But we got to talk about one of the Muay Thai fights, Ratang and Sok.
Ratang is an animal.
Oh my god,
he is an animal.
But how big are the balls on Sok to come out for the second round after? I thought he had a broken leg after the first when he couldn't stand on it.
There was so much heart shown on that card.
Yeah.
Like I said, there's a few one-sided contests, and they just I was wincing looking at some of them.
And Sok was a quick finish. They got into the second round, and pretty much Ratang by that point knew the leg was done, and he just worked it. But the damage he put into that leg in round one, I mean, I thought it was broken when Sok tried to get up after that knockdown, and could barely get his foot under him. And then he came out walking in the second round like fine until he took a few more hits, and he was like, it's not going to happen. But yeah, leg kicks for days. And like some of them like right on the knee. And just like that whipping Muay Thai, shin on knee, and just Sok's leg was just buckling.
I was sitting next to a couple of Cambodian media.
Yep.
And obviously they were there for Sok Thi, and they said before they thought Ratang's probably going to be too strong.
Probably.
Yeah, but I think when a bit more one-sided than.
Cambodian fighters that I've seen fight have been gritty and tough always, and
there's a bit of a Cambodian thing going on at the moment with their fighters coming through the ranks, and
Mezamule is one of my favorite guys to watch.
Yeah.
Ty Riddy, I think, coaches both those guys.
Yeah.
He's a straight Brooklyn guy. He's like from New York, and he's a Cambodian American, but I just love him. He is like one of the best personalities in the game in Asian MMA. You've met him before, right?
I don't think I've met him.
No.
No.
You gotta get out to Phnom Penh and check those guys out, man.
Yeah, I need to.
And I know one doesn't go out there. They haven't been out there in a few years.
No,
they have been before though.
Yeah, I'm hoping they go back. Go back at some point.
Now, one of the fights I really was impressed by was Sato versus Mark Abelardo.
Fairtex.
Yeah, Mark Fairtex. Yeah, much easier to say Fairtex. Abelardo. But Sato looked phenomenal. This is probably the worst I've ever seen Mark look, to be honest. Like, his timing was bad. And usually I'm really impressed with Mark. I've watched him fight for years out here in Thailand. But Sato was just, he would disappear and Mark couldn't connect. And he would just touch him in ways that, phenomenal. And the takedowns. And it was almost like, and Mark, who's been a beast. I mean, he's had a bit of a run, right? Like,
I think he's on about a 6-fight win streak.
Yeah, and for Sato to make him look like he didn't know what he was doing is
impressive.
Oh my god! I want to know who Sato's fighting next, because that's just the way he moved, the way he looked. It's gonna be something special.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Oh man! And of course that brings us to our co-main. Well, I should ask you though, what do you think of Mark? Kind of being off timing.
It's difficult to tell, really, sometimes from the cage side, but they say Sato looks so good.
Yeah.
Was it him? Was it Mark not being quite up to his normal standards, or a bit of both?
I think it's got to be a bit of both. I mean, because to Mark, what I've seen in his last couple of fights is just been a monster, and he just looked. Maybe something was off. Maybe he had a bad camp. I don't know. I don't know if you got a chance to talk to him.
No.
After?
No. Also, the other thing is, you thought it was maybe an early finish. I thought it was a
I definitely
finish.
I definitely thought it was an early stoppage. And my producer Emily was watching it at home, and she actually messaged me. She's like, "That's early," and I was saying the same thing to my girlfriend.
I thought it was okay. I mean, I just thought he just was just covering up for too long. It looked like it wasn't just waiting for it to die.
Yeah, but like nothing, like maybe a few got through, but not enough to justify that stoppage. Yeah. And you saw him pop up and argue about it right away. I mean, and I think that was offensively early. Like I said last week, I thought the Yushin stoppage was a second early. Like he could have given him a second or two more. But I wasn't offended by that stoppage. Like I can live with it, right? Like either way. This one I found offensively early, and I thought like you got to let it go.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's difficult to get a grasp of it sometimes from case side, particularly with this side where we had the door there.
Yeah,
but I think
that's always tough. Yeah, when you're looking through the door.
Yeah, I was speaking to someone, I can't remember the media guys after, they thought it was early as well.
Yeah,
but I thought at the time it looked. It's okay to me.
Yeah, I would say rewatch it. I mean, I rewatched it this morning before I went out to a class, and I was like, I still think it like, listen, that one was like to the point that it was like offensively early. Like I said, with the Yushin one, I'm like, yeah, it was early, but am I mad about it? No, I just think it was early, like a little bit, and I don't think in the Yushin one, I don't think it would have changed the outcome, and that's why I'm not like offended by it. Like it was just a little early. I would have given him a bit more chance, but with that stoppage last night, I was like, not a lot was landing. He might have been able to like spin out, get a leg. I don't know. Something could have happened there.
Yeah, to me, it didn't look like he was going to do anything.
But we don't know because he didn't get the opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's
it's a fine line.
That was for me though the one little like, well, not the one the co-main was the big thing, but on the MMA side, that was like the one thing that just kind of like, I don't know. But Sato, great. I want to see what Mark does when he comes back. Yeah, and I know he'll be back, and hopefully he'll get a good fight. But I really want to see what happens with Sato if he continues with that type of movement and his ability to control range like that. It'd be nice. He could give a lot of guys trouble.
Yeah.
So next up, it was K1 rules championship bout with Petchdam versus Elias Mahmoudi, which this was turning out to be fight of the night.
Yeah, it was
going in that direction.
It was going the same direction as Sam A versus Jonathan Haggerty last week,
which was a phenomenal fight.
Which is phenomenal, yeah.
And I mean, that fight, I was on the edge of my seat the whole time. And with this one, But what's crazy about this fight, the very first strike that lands gets a yellow card because in K1 rules, no elbows, which I hate. But it makes it for a different. I don't hate it. It just makes for a different viewing experience, and it definitely changes the dynamics of kickboxing versus Muay Thai. But literally, the first strike, and when they showed it on replay, it wasn't an accidental. Did you see the replay in the stadium?
Yeah.
It was not an accidental elbow. Like he was into it. Also, I gotta say that the entrance by Petchdam was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. Came out with he had the shark come out, and then he came out with the purple jacket and a pimp staff and a Joker mask and gold chains, and just danced his whole probably a 10-minute dance on his way to the cage.
That was phenomenal.
That were people going crazy when he was doing that live?
Yeah, it was amazing just how many people suddenly were standing up with their phones.
Yeah.
Videoing it. I mean, it was. I think if I noticed, everyone just thought, "Wow, this is." All these walkouts are good.
Yeah.
Everyone was just like, "Wow."
Actually, I thought Rotterdam had a great walkout with the time music, and he really took his time, danced really slow. But I love that kind of that slow, methodical Thai dance. That movement is so nice.
Yeah.
And he killed it, swag all the way. But Petchdam really turned it up to 11.
Yeah.
So this fight was going great, and we were talking about this at dinner, and I think we're not quite on the same page as to who was winning. Where not without the yellow card, I really thought that Elias was winning.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
Oh yeah. So my point I think was that a lot of people believe that it was either equal or Petchdam was ahead, particularly going into that fifth round.
I would say that it was close.
It was very, very close.
I think Elias was ahead, and you could tell that Petchdam had been touched up quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean his face. I spoke to him afterwards in the cage, and his face was. I said to him about was he tough? And he thought was anything surprising? He went, he's very accurate. Just look at my face.
What's crazy that was that he jumped up on the cage afterwards. I think there was some confusion as to the outcome, and when he jumped up and the camera was right there, you could see his face was swollen shut.
Well, that didn't go down too well. One is because it hadn't even announced the decision yet, and at that point I was thinking, I don't think he's even won.
No.
And I was thinking, this is pretty crazy because Elias is getting stretchered out.
Yeah, you caught that on the broadcast, they went to a wide shot and you just saw him being stretchered out.
Well, I was thinking it's gonna be pretty crazy if he's getting stretchered out as his name's being called for being the new champion.
The little of Chatri sitting there in the cage with his dick in his hand and a belt on his shoulder. Luckily, it didn't go down that way. I mean, not luckily, but luckily for Chatri.
And Petchdam, really, because I mean, I think the thing was, like I said, he celebrated before the decision was announced.
Yeah, but I think that was just communicated to him poorly.
I think his team might have come on and said...
Yeah, because it looked like his manager,
No one's supposed to run into the cage until after the official decision. And on top of that, if you've won a contest in that fashion, you don't generally celebrate.
No.
It's like my background is tennis. If my opponent quits because he's injured, I wouldn't start doing cartwheels.
Rip the shirt off.
Yeah. So if he'd knocked him out, but then again, he's only, you forget how young he's, only 20, and I guess the heat of the moment. But yeah, so I mean, I spoke to his team after, they weren't too happy.
Yeah.
They want the rematch.
Elias' team.
Elias' team, yeah.
How was he?
He's actually in hospital. They think he's going to be in hospital for 3 days. The eruption was that bad.
So it actually ruptured something?
I think, yeah. And I think the swelling's so bad, he's going to have to stay in hospital till the swelling comes down because they can't examine it until the swelling's come down. So
what, did he rupture a vein? Do we think he ruptured an actual testicle?
I'm not sure, but I think it's a case of, please God, take away the pain, but keep the swelling.
Yeah, this was a rough shot. I mean... One of the things that
it was bad. Yeah.
On the broadcast, you don't see the injured fighter, so one won't show the injured fighter, just like they didn't show the cut with Adrian.
Yeah.
So we don't get, as an audience, we don't get the opportunity to judge on TV how bad something is.
Well, that did happen right in front of us, and at first it looked like he wasn't sure they believed in it as a low blow. As he went down to the ground, he kind of pointed to the screen and go, "Look."
Well, actually, so this was crazy because on the first replay of it, it didn't really look that bad. It looked like it might have caught him on the top coming in. And then on the next replay, it's like it's a different angle, and it's like, oh my Lord, how is this man alive?
Yeah, so we were talking about kicks, the damage the kicks were doing all night.
Yeah.
And he took one right on the crown jewels.
So he went straight from the fight to the hospital.
And yeah, he's not in a good way apparently.
And they're saying 3 days. 3
days. That's what I think it was his dad I was talking to late last night.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted the rematch. I think one are keen on a rematch. I asked Petchdam, what next? Would you consider a rematch? And he basically said he doesn't want a rematch.
Well, why would he? He's getting his ass kicked.
Wow.
I mean, if there was no yellow card, in my opinion, Petchdam loses that fight. Yeah, no yellow card. I mean, it was close, but I definitely think that he was just getting touched up too much.
Yeah, I mean, I thought Elias was getting slightly better for most of the exchanges.
Yeah.
But obviously, with the kickboxing, it's done on per round.
Yeah.
Rather than the mixed martial arts, which is done over the whole contest. So that gives it a little twist. But
yeah, but if you're judging it per round, I still think Elias wins. 3 out of those 4 rounds.
Yeah, I think definitely Petchdam was the better man in the fourth.
Probably.
A lot of people said they thought he won the second.
I would disagree with that.
Definitely started strong in the first. Third was very close. Well, again, I thought he aged.
Again, you start out the very first blow in the fight gives you the yellow card, and so I mean it's a no-brainer that Petchdam wins with the yellow card. I would love to see them run that back though. Oh my God.
I think they've got to.
They absolutely have to. That was a great fight. Yeah, but I didn't know he was still in the hospital. I didn't realize. Like I said, I only knew he was getting stretchered out. I think they said it on the broadcast, and they were saying, "Oh, it's just precautionary." But then you saw him at one of the wide shots getting brought out on the stretcher, and it did not look in a good way.
Well, normally with a low blow, no matter how bad it is, they walk out, and you think sometimes, he doesn't carry it out.
Yeah.
Then you hear he's going to be in hospital for 3 days. You think maybe that stretcher was
good idea.
Yeah. Is it like a bit similar to last week? I think last week was such a phenomenal card in Jakarta. It had that one kind of blemish with the whole Keanu Suba injury.
Yeah.
This card was the same. It was an amazing card. Just a shame about how the co-main event finished. Yeah,
especially if hopefully it's not so serious. The swelling goes down. It'll be okay. Let's see.
Yeah.
But can't even imagine. But I want to know who's in more pain today, him or Suzuki. And we get to the main event, and
I like what you did there.
Yeah, you like what I did there. You talked about kicks. If anyone felt more punishment from kicks last night, it was Suzuki in the main event against Nong-O. Now, Nong-O doesn't fight MMA. If you guys don't know who he is, he's an absolute monster at Muay Thai. And like when I say monster, like every time I've seen Nong-O fight, I'm just like, why does he do this to people? And actually, I sent a message last night to one of the people I know at One. I was like, yo, Nong-O should probably just show up at the police station and turn himself in for assault, because he probably could have ended that fight last night at any moment he chose. Now, Suzuki's a tough dude. Don't get me wrong, but he was clearly not in the same league as Nong-O on a Muay Thai level. And one of the things that I've got to say that I didn't know this until you told me today was that he broke his leg in the second round. And I was like, it struck me. I was like, oh my God, he never sat down between rounds. He just stood there and was like moving.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how bad he broke it. I mean, he certainly wasn't a Keanu Suba.
But you said his whole leg was in a cast.
Yeah, sort of like a light cast from,
a light cast.
Yeah. Well, you don't see casts very often. Like even Keanu Suba, when he posted a picture when he got back to Malaysia at the airport, he was in a boot.
Yeah, but he probably had surgery to put a pin in,
That's
right?
true, yeah. Whereas, but it was Nong-O who told me back at the hotel last night, said that he told me that he broke his leg in the second round.
He said he had a cast on this morning.
Yeah. And
did you get to see his ribs this morning?
I didn't have the heart to ask. I just congratulated him for having the biggest heart in the world.
So if you didn't see this fight, Suzuki, by the end of the first round, basically Nong-O was landing repeated Muay Thai kicks to Suzuki's left side, his ribs, and he fights southpaw. So just over and over, and you could hear the slap. I don't know if you could hear it in the stadium. You were close enough, you probably could. But on the broadcast, it was like, and at one point he started to develop just like black dots on his back from where Nong-O's toes were continuously just slapping.
The color was crazy. I mean, when Ongla beat Ken Hasegawa in Tokyo, it was bad. It looked terrible.
And you said he ruptured a lung and broke his ribs.
He broke his ribs and punctured his lung.
Yeah.
And the bruising and the red and the blood, I think there was blood as well, on Suzuki last night, was much worse.
The black dots that were developing on his back, like throughout the fight, were insane. And you pointed this out to me earlier, that he never winced. He would just smile, and he would take these.
He just didn't wince. Then in the fifth round, he smiled. He started smiling. I was thinking, this isn't normal.
When he was able to throw punches in the fifth round, I was dumbfounded.
Yeah.
I'm like, how is he moving that left arm?
I mean, I spoke to his translator this morning, and he was saying he didn't even really notice them.
How?
I don't know if it's just pure craziness or the leg or the adrenaline. But I think I mentioned to you earlier, Michael Bisping said, I think last week, covering the UFC Ottawa, he gets asked a lot.
Yeah.
Does it hurt when you get punched in a fight? If you've got adrenaline and everything. He said, not really, to be honest. But when you get kicks in the leg, you know about it.
And when a Thai person kicks you with a Muay Thai kick, it hurts a lot. A lot.
So I guess, I imagine his attention was on his leg.
Yeah.
But
he didn't take a ton of leg kicks, though. He took some.
Oh, sorry, not leg kicks, but still kicks, to the body.
Yeah.
But however he damaged his leg,
however he broke it.
In the second round, obviously.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I mean, you can't imagine.
Anyway.
He's still smiling this morning. And
to me, it was kind of an anticlimactic main event, only because it was so one-sided. But it was a technical clinic on Nong-O's part.
Yeah, I mean, you can appreciate it from that side. I mean, it was Nong-O's most dominant performance in one.
By far.
4 wins out of 4. All gone to decision, though.
I think it's that classic Thai, Muay Thai style. So
the thing is, I mean, I slightly disagree with you that fact that he could finish at any moment.
I think he could have.
The thing is, though, I mean, should the referee have stopped it? I mean, like I said, Suzuki wasn't wincing. Yeah. He was able to carry on. His best round was the fifth, where he just thought, I might as well just go for it, and he started throwing more punches. But on the other hand,
but say
someone's doing that much damage to themselves, and they're almost too brave, tough for their own good.
But say Nong-O turned it up 1 or 2 notches in the second round. Yeah, I think he could have. He
was turning up, but then also part of the reason his whole ribs was damaged so much because Suzuki was just covering his head.
Yeah, and just taking shots.
Taking shots there. So even if he was taking it, his arms would have blocked the head kicks. He just kept getting repeatedly bang.
I don't think he was going to start checking leg kicks from Nong-O, though, if Nong just chopped his legs away.
No. But
either way, I mean, it was brutal. It was like a horror film almost to watch.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, Nong-O looked like he was having a whale of a time.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe he didn't want to finish it.
Maybe he's just like, I'm getting paid. I might as well work for 25 minutes or 15 minutes.
25.
No, it's 3-minute rounds.
Oh, yeah, it's 3. Yeah,
15,
3 times 3, yeah.
3 times 5.
3 times 5, yeah. Muay Thai, yeah.
But I mean, for Suzuki, those have to be incredibly excruciating 3 minutes.
Yeah.
And then a broken leg for essentially 9 of those 15.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, I mean, I wish the co-main had gone the distance with Petchdam. That, like I said, that would have been fight of the night. The yellow card probably would have sealed the fate ultimately, the way that it was rounding out. If Petchdam kept that momentum going, Nong-O monster, Sato looked phenomenal.
Yeah. And one thing I forgot to mention, Rodtang facing Jonathan Haggerty.
Oh yes, yeah, that they confirmed that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
That's
Rodtang.
going to be
Oh my God.
amazing.
The way those two fight.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whew. But they didn't say when that's going to be, right?
No, I mean that literally was agreed in the cage.
Well, they I guess he said that through the translator, through a Kwang, and someone said that Chatri, the commentator team said Chatri screamed out, "Let's do it" from cage side.
I think he gave a thumbs up.
Oh man. And well, Jonathan Haggerty called out Rodtang, right, last week.
He did actually. Yeah.
And Rodtang kind of he hinted at it, but I don't think he quite outright said it. Man, that would be a great fight. I'd love to see that. They're going back to Tokyo in October
13th.
I'd love to see that in Tokyo.
That possibility, yeah. Unless they don't want to wait that. I mean, these Muay Thai guys,
Yeah.
they fight so regularly.
Yeah, frequently.
But I mean, October, the Tokyo card's going to be crazy. It wouldn't surprise me if they
slap that bad boy on there. Oh.
We've already got the Grand Prix finals going to be on the card.
And we've got Ong La versus Brendan Vera, if they can make weight.
Well,
205's heavyweight, right? Light heavyweight.
Ong La will be fine because he competes middleweight a lot.
But it's the one light heavyweight strap, but it's technically a heavyweight bout, right?
Oh, because of the weight difference in one.
So what's the upper limit on light heavyweight for one though? It can't be 265.
Must be 225.
Maybe, yeah.
Good question.
Yeah, I'll have to get confirmation on that.
Also, Ong La told me that he's going to be on the KO card in July as well. Before then.
What? At middleweight?
Yeah, I couldn't get out of him who he's facing, but for the weight class.
Oh, so
what did he say? The weight? I think it's middleweight, but
that'd be brutal for him.
He doesn't want to wait till October. You think that's quite a while, so
yeah.
That's great for KL.
That is great for KL. Where's that KL card going to be in KL?
Where or when?
Where? Which stadium?
The Arto, I think the last couple have been at.
Okay.
July 12th.
A lot of stadiums in KL.
Yeah.
I like that. I've ref fights in I think 3 different stadiums in KL. Beautiful. I've been to one at 2 different stadiums in KL.
Yeah.
Yeah. And great venues, especially some of them are older, like Sea Games or Asian Games stadiums. And good locations for the most part.
Yeah.
Not like Impact. But I mean, in Impact technically, it's not in Bangkok. It's just outside.
It's a bit like KL Airport.
Yeah.
It's called KL, but it's actually not actually in
so
KL. It's
just
outside of the city.
Suvarnabhumi is not in Bangkok either, the airport here. But I mean, Impact is by far the biggest venue in Thailand. And
it looked like it was a sellout or near enough sellout last night.
Last time I was there, I think the entire upper tier was essentially empty. And the other tiers below that were like probably 60%, 70%.
I've noticed last year the crowds have gone up and up and up.
It's funny. The first one I went to was packed out. The very first Bangkok show ever I was at. I was at the first 2 in a row, and they had concerts at both of those as well. And so, like the first one was the first Bangkok show one ever did was insane. The card was stacked, and they had the 2 biggest bands in Thailand at the show. And it was amazing. It was just packed out, and it was great fights and good music, and they've kind of tapered off. One of the things I want to talk to you about, and we were talking about this earlier. Because this card was so Muay Thai heavy, it was strange that it was in a cage.
Yeah, I was surprised. I assumed it'd be in a ring.
It was in a ring last time in Bangkok, right?
I believe so, yeah.
And it was more Muay Thai. It was more MMA heavy.
Yeah, and then next week's in a ring, which I would have thought would have been in a cage.
In Singapore.
I would have thought in Singapore, so I thought it would have been the other way around. But I guess there's some logic there somewhere. I'll have to ask. Question.
I'd like to know why Singapore. And maybe it's for audience.
Singapore's got it's got a title fight, Muay Thai in the co-main event.
We had 2 title fights in Muay Thai in a cage last night.
Yeah.
Now, one of the things I think is interesting about Singapore is they probably actually sell the tickets for that event. I mean, for people at home who don't know, that one essentially in Bangkok and KL give away probably the vast majority of the seats. I've actually had people from one contact me to ask me to give away tickets to try to, to fill seats with like different groups or whatever. And I think it's important for them to have a full stadium. And also, you got to keep in mind that in a lot of these markets, they're trying to expose the audience to the sport, right? So there were MMA shows in Bangkok before one, never one on that scale in a big stadium, right? So it's one of the things that makes sense when you're trying to expose people to sport, fill the stadium, right? Make it look good for TV. But in Singapore, that stadium's small, for one, and I think the market's a lot more mature for the sport. So they probably sell out quite a bit. And I bet you that the ring has a lot to do with the visibility of the attendees.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah. I would say that's...
Is the Singapore indoor stadium small?
Compared to Impact, yeah. Yeah.
What's the capacity at?
I don't know, but I mean, I've only been to indoor stadium twice in Singapore, and both times I was like, this feels really small.
Pretty sure it's got about 15,000 capacity.
Really?
I think so, yeah. They're always quite deceptively big now because the way they're designed, where everyone gets a good spot, a good view, makes it look a little smaller. But
actually, I would say press row at Singapore is probably some of the better seats. Like, people would pay a lot for those seats at press row.
Yeah.
You're like right by the entrance and like right behind the cage.
Yeah.
It's a good seat. Yeah, I know. It felt small to me. Indoor stadium felt small to me.
Yeah.
Especially compared to Impact.
I'll tell you next week.
Yeah, let me know what the capacity is. I think Impact is around 35.
It's not.
Yeah.
Because the O2 in London is about 20,000. That's one of the biggest indoor stadiums in the world.
Yeah.
Impact probably about 15 as well, I'd think.
I think it's like in the 30s.
Plus.
And keep in mind, it goes up like 4 or 5 tiers.
Yeah, it won't be in the 30s. Is huge.
Well, we have the power of the internet.
Because if you ever look at the US Open Stadium tennis, that's about 20 and a half, I think. And that's outdoor, and that is massive. That is huge.
Okay.
So, plus they won't have that many tickets for one as well because some of the stadiums cut off for the ramp and the big screen.
Well, I hate to tell you this, but one of us is right and one of us is wrong. And it's unfortunate that I'm the wrong one here. So it's about 11,000 at Impact.
Yeah.
I thought it was considerably bigger, but what I was thinking of, I'm looking at this, is actually the capacity with the convention hall.
Right.
So they can actually fit like 50,000 people in the convention hall with the stadium.
Yeah.
But yeah, the stadium seats 11. Now let's look up Singapore Indoor Stadium. Now, you've been to, other than last year when we were there together, how many times have you been to Singapore?
2 or 3 plus a UFC event there.
What did you think of the UFC there versus one there?
There's a lot more empty seats for the UFC event.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I don't think UFC gives any away. So indoor stadium in Singapore is 1,000 more capacity.
12,000.
Yeah. Which is weird. To me, it feels much smaller than Impact. Yeah. It definitely is a small feeling stadium.
It's more modern. Like I said, it's more modern, so I guess.
Yeah, it is a better design.
Yeah.
Impact is kind of like really an older feel. No, but I'll tell you what though. When one goes to Singapore with those big cards, it's the equivalent of UFC's Fight Week in Vegas.
When I spoke to Chatri a few weeks ago now in Manila, he predicted Singapore card will get more views than the Tokyo card. Tokyo got 42 million views.
Air quotes.
Chatri thinks Singapore will get more.
Well, if he says it, then I'm sure it will happen. Now,
Which is interesting.
No sarcasm here, guys. No sarcasm.
The card's strong. I wouldn't say it's as strong as the Tokyo card. But
Tokyo card was killer.
Tokyo card was crazy.
And you had a debut of Demetrius Johnson. And you had the debut of Eddie Alvarez.
Yeah.
And you had Angela Lee going up to try to capture a second strap.
4 title belts on the line.
Yeah, come on. I mean,
but I guess his point is, every event now, the fan base is probably growing. It probably grew a big chunk after Tokyo, because not only was it a huge card, well hyped, brilliant on paper, it lived up. And it was similar. Again, it was one of them cards where it was almost like a perfect card, apart from the Kevin Bellingon, Bibiano Fernandez.
With Rick Audi jumping into the cage to intervene.
Apart from that, everything else was kind of brilliant. It seems like
I 100% agree with you.
Yeah.
100% agree with you. That was the one blemish on that amazing
day of bout. Yeah.
Absolutely phenomenal. And in upsets and in drama and stories, I mean.
And it showed, like, obviously we're in Asia, we know how good these one athletes are.
They're fighters, man. They're fighters.
I still get now, like, when I share an Asian Persuasion post about one fighter, about how they're rubbish compared to UFC. Like, if it's not UFC in some people's heads, they might as well not even be classed as a fighter.
Tell that to Timothy Nestyukin.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But not only that, but then the way.
Tell it to Abasov.
No, I mean Demetrius Johnson against
Yuya.
Yeah.
Tell Yuya.
Yeah. Yeah. He put a good fight up there. I mean, that put one on the map even more there, I think.
For sure. I mean, and the fact that Demetrius had a hard time, but to me, the fact that Demetrius had a hard time with Yuya was more shocking than Timothy beating Eddie.
To some extent, yeah. I mean, I think most of us knew going into that card that Eddie would have a tougher day.
Yeah, and anyone who's seen Timothy fight knows that he's a beast.
Yeah.
And actually, you know what? I Abasov too. I think Yushin kind of slept on Abasov, and
which if he did was crazy because
Abasov's a monster.
He's a monster.
And Yushin was talking about, like, he saw all the press leading up to it. He's like, oh, I'm gonna win that belt. This is just.
And move up, win that belt, middleweight belt. Yeah.
And not anymore. Not right now, anyway.
Yeah.
You might do it, but not after that. Anyway, Leon, I appreciate you taking the time to pop by here and talk to me about the fights last night. Great card. I was shocked. I'm looking forward to next week. Yeah. You're going to be live in Singapore?
I'll be in Singapore, yeah.
Are you going for the whole week for the Nielsen conference?
Probably, yeah. What day is today? I'm flying out Monday, straight from Bangkok.
So you're going from Bangkok to Singapore?
Yeah. Got a press conference Tuesday.
Okay. Yeah, the Nielsen, I went to the Nielsen conference last year. It was a lot of really good information.
Yeah.
Numbers, man. Be ready to think numbers because they're going to talk a lot about them.
Yeah.
And enjoy those fights. Well, anyway, guys, check out Leon's work over at APMMA.net. That's the Asian Persuasion MMA news site. He covers all the events in Asia. You know, he's got tons of information on there. Obviously, he's at one every week, so you're going to get a lot of great video coverage from pre-fight interviews, post-fight interviews, all that great stuff. He's got a ton of that on the site. I check out a lot of your, especially your post-fight interviews, because you get some good access.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Until next time, check it out.